Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be talking about the balance update to the Patriot and the leader. Also there is a change to balance program in general, which I believe will warrant a separate video, because there is quite a lot to discuss when it comes to the balance update for both these champions. There is some good news and there are some less than great news. For those of you in a massive rush, Patriot is getting buffed, Leader is not. So, balance update here again with the latest round. Champions up for review. Arcade and Northstar. What? Really? Really? Really now? Copy-paste job if I have ever seen one. Okay. Patriot entered the contest targeting non-damaging debuffs in a unique way. Weaponizing a new reversal mechanic, Patriot was looking to counter defenders who use a combo of threatening debuffs, miss, and block penetration. Photon likely being no surprise here. Unfortunately, we're seeing Patriot perform lower than we'd like across his target matchups, Photon included. We will be looking to address this via rebalancing with the goal of reinforcing his identity as an attacker who can efficiently counter targeting matchups above, with upgrades to also increasing his performance in day-to-day matchups. Now then, that's obviously good news. I am not gonna lie, without a change to his abilities in general, or just like a numbers type of tweak, I don't necessarily see Patriot being great. Because there's just not that many champions that put on timed debuffs on you as you fight them. Like if we're gonna go to Aunt May, or you know what, we're gonna go to Khonshu's Ankh instead because that has updated set of champions. So we're gonna take a look at Science champions, which is primarily meant to, counter, and then non-damaging debuffs that are timed. You can go up against I-Bomb, for instance, but that non-damaging debuffs will not be the main issue. You're still going to get poisoned. And, that's not going to be great. Ant-Man, you're still going to be glancing everything, so that's also not going to be great. Finding Anti-Venom, first of all, not a major threat on defense, but it's permanent debuffs. Most of these champions do not put debuffs on you at all. Cassie Lang, well, not a major threat on defense to begin with, so there we go. Permanent debuffs. What I'm trying to say is, typically when you fight champions, and more often than not, you do get to face either no debuffs placed on you unless you mess up, or permanent ones. Even like, Void, just can put on a permanent debuff on you. Most of these champions will put debuffs on you only when you get smacked in the face. Typically, more often, well, I guess Ham, but again, still you need to worry about the power things and taunts. Like Ham would be a good matchup, but I guess the point is, what I'm trying to say, when it comes to Patriot, he just doesn't have many great matchups. He was quite clearly designed with Photon in mind, as in like, we need a Photon counter, and that's good, that's solid, but not much else. And Photon in itself is not that big of a threat on defense with less than ideal counters, comparatively speaking, to champions like, Enchantress or Bullseye, or most notably Serpent. Because, high damage output champions that, can play without stunning the opponent, ideally having, decent chunkiness, can deal with Photon quite well. It's not going to be an easy fight, but it's not like it's a desperate, absolutely massive need. Like, obviously, if he becomes the best Photon counter, there will be more times than we could potentially use him. But, yeah, I'm just not seeing the total necessity for Patriot as a champion. But that said, obviously, I'm very, very, very happy that he is getting a tune-up. I hope it is good. Who knows? It might be good enough, damage-wise, that make him like a great generic nuke, for instance. And if that happens, very, very good for Patriot. Still, again, issues with not only his ability, the playstyle as well, by the way. Charging your heavy attack and not having AI attack into you and then getting smacked in the face is some of the most miserable MCOC experience that will immediately make you flip your B-Snatch switch. And stuff like that, just shows flaws, I guess you could say, that you could avoid by just using a different champion. That's it. Again, very happy Patriot is getting buffed. Very recently, in some of you guys might have seen, got myself a 7-star Patriot, so hey, he's getting buffed. Now, this second thing, though, I think would have potentially been more significant, because the leader actually have quite a lot of abilities that would be useful across the wider area of matchups. So having leader that actually does solid amounts of damage would be amazing, but no. An attacking leader was designed to counter 2 common mystic threats: an ability, power gain, and regeneration, which is done by any petrified debuff. Okay, anyways. Rewarding the right matchup and skill gameplay with his green door mechanic. As the leader is the first champion to use powerful severe version of debuffs. That is the coolest thing, by the way, as an offensively. Defensively, it's annoying. We're pleased to see players capitalize on its versatility as shown by his success in matches where other science options have traditionally struggled. The leader's defensive kit was designed to disrupt and stall, forcing opponents to manage the damage mitigation attached to his debuffs and threat of an open green door. His performance as defender so far aligned with his targets, with his high average fight time as a defender being a notable standout. Overall, we're happy with how the leader has landed. So far, no change are incoming. Now, this is a load of scheißen, because the leader was used offensively for very specific reason and very specific reason only. It was a fairly tricky, very difficult to meta with extremely underwhelming offensive champion pool, and that's it. The leader was used primarily in Alliance 1, like when it comes to competitive situations, when he was tactic champion for the Provocateur and Secutor metas. And even then, he only got moderately good results because people purposely spec'd in recall masteries on him, went for a level 3 rotation with power back boosts, and boosted the shit out of him. Because otherwise, the dude's got jack offensively. His damage output is, fairly crap, especially if the AI does not play ideally into you. Those fury effects are barely noticeable and leave no marks, and then they just disappear super quickly. Either way, I guess the point is, he's not a good attacker. I don't understand Kabam, where they can look at the Serpent, for instance, and say that Serpent is great and balanced and everything's fine with Serpent, and then they take a look at the leader and say that leader is fine and balanced and everything's fine with leader. Those two are not remotely the same in terms of their usage, in terms of their desirability, in terms of anything. I don't know why. Leader is almost a great champion. The most painful thing about Leader was Count Nefaria came out like a month or two after, and everybody was like, Count Nefaria does great. He doesn't reverse or power control as well as Leader does. Fair. But he has got damage and a lot of other things than Leader doesn't. And Leader just kind of died immediately. I don't think he would have done well to begin with in a stacked science class where there are so many different options to achieve the results. There will be some unique scenarios, obviously, when Leader will be one of the better options if you do have 2.5 hours to do each fight in like longer, health pool fights. But in general, objectively speaking, he's a champion that definitionally needed an attack bonus. And he's not getting one. I mean, defensively, it's fine. I don't look at leaders like some sort of massive roadblock. Because, do your parry mediums, avoid light hits in general, and you're fine. Obviously, like without solid counter, he's gonna take a while. With somebody like Moleman, you can nuke him down super easily. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you'd wish to see him buffed. Either way, going into 2025, Rebalance is going to be taking a different approach to how we update champions. Currently, the timeline is at 3 months. The Rebalance team will communicate whether or not champion will get retuned. Then at 6 months after champion's release, retune will go live. For 2025, the second half process will be looking a bit different. We'll be moving to a batch releases of retunes with 2 batches a year as the goal. Patriot will be the first champion affected by this, meaning rather than his retune coming out in 3 months, it will release with a later announced batch of retunes. For more information on this, there's a separate post for it, but effectively, Kabam is gonna be releasing 3 tune-ups or tune-downs a year in batches of 3 champions, so basically every 6 months. Before, you can still expect Arcade and Northstar and Silver Sable's tuning updates to be released in January with our 41.8 build. Kind of looking forward to seeing whether Arcade and Silver Sable will be viable now. You can also expect communication about Beta build and Enchantress balance review towards the middle of January. So that is where we stand on these things. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about